Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR MyCareer mode here on the channel. I hope you all having a great day as the 2003 season continues on to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now a track that has presented great classic finishes in the past and looks to do so again this weekend. Jimmie Johnson coming off of a win in Las Vegas in overtime, his fourth career win as he was able to get the top spot. Some drivers with rough starts to the season. Mark Martin's had three mechanical issues in all three races so far. He looks to turn things around this weekend. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has yet to finish in the top 30 in the first three races as well. Another driver looking to turn things around. Another notable, Tony Stewart, hasn't had a great start to the season. Your defending champion looking to do the same thing as those two drivers, turn things around this weekend as we hit the track in this Motorcraft number 21 Ford Taurus here for this Wood Brothers Racing team. And yeah, I mean, for us, we're coming off of a very surprising first career top 10. Nobody really saw that coming, including myself. We really benefited off of, kind of the misfortune of others, and now we've got ourselves a top 10, and I'm hoping today, I mean, not necessarily expecting a top 10 here in Atlanta, but I am hopeful that we can find ourselves, somewhere at least in that top 20, top 15, but I mean, with the way these races go, you never really know how things are going to play out, so there is really just as much opportunity still to get a top 10 if things kind of go in our favor. But when it comes to these mile and a halves, we've got a pretty safe to say about a 20th place car or so, as you can see us there. Our practice times as we would get ready now to hit the track for qualifying here on Saturday afternoon. Next Level Racing on board, as you guys know. Of course, use the code in the description with the link going 5 for 5% discount on Next Level Racing Sim products. On top of that, if you want to be in the lore of this career mode, you can hit the join button down below and join the Go and Pit crew, and you actually become a team member from spotter, crew chief, jackman, tire carrier, fuel man. It could be anything, and you will be having your own statistics and part of the lore in this career mode now as we qualify 34th here with a 30.746 now. So we'll wait and see where everybody else ends up. John Andretti, Kyle Petty there in the last row. Casey Mears back there with another fellow rookie of Jack Sprague. Not exactly where I had hoped to qualify, obviously, but rounding out the top 20 was Jerry Nadeau. Top 10, Jamie McMurray with a great qualifying effort. And up front, it's going to be Matt Kenseth and Bobby Labonte with Jeff Gordon and Jimmie Johnson there on row number 2. Let's go racing here from Atlanta.
On the blacktop heat, 100,000 screaming on their feet. Feel the thunder shake the ground below. Green flags waving, time to let it go. Hey, we're going pedal down. Hey, the fastest wheels in town, chasing glory, claim the checkered crown.
We're ready to go racing then here from Atlanta Motor Speedway now as we start to pretty deep in the field towards the back. So we have got a lot of work to do here in Atlanta if we are going to salvage a respectable run out of this day now, as Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton both looking pretty speedy this weekend. How about Jeremy Mayfield? Crashed during qualifying. He will be sent to the back in a backup car for today's race. Mayfield, last episode out in Vegas, was so close to stealing a win, and then, well, overtime happened, and he ended up coming up short instead, and now he has a lot of work to do if he is going to find some success here behind the wheel today. Here we go. We're racing from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the 2003 season continues. Matt Kenseth scored his 11th career pole this weekend and leads the field alongside Bobby Labonte into turn number 1 with the Hendrick Motorsports duo of Jeff Gordon and his prospect driver of Jimmy Johnson, who picked up his first win of the 2003 season last time out. Now as two drivers that have won back-to-back races here. Harvick won 2 races ago, Jimmy Johnson last race. They both have reached their 4th career wins here early on in this season, as we are just glued to this inside lane trying to make things happen right off the bat here. Now behind Tony Raines in the 74, you got Dave Blaney in the 77 looking to the inside of the 88 UPS machine of Dale Jarrett now as we sail it off into turn number 1 as well. And you can see the momentum we are able to carry right here through the center of the corner. So very, very happy kind of seeing that right off the bat. Definitely is going to build some confidence in what the speed of this car is, at least in the center of the corner. We've already got a lead change, by the way. Jeff Gordon has gotten out to an early lead here from Atlanta now in that number 24 as he looks to try and pick up his first win of the season. It's been a kind of a quiet start to the season for the 4-time champion now as he looks to kind of get things back on track here in race number 4. Now, we have already talked about several drivers that kind of are looking for a bit of a turnaround this season. Tony Stewart, the defending champion, Dale Jr., Mark Martin. So those are 3 drivers we're kind of keeping an eye on here today and see if they can kind of get themselves back into a good spot here and get the seasons back on track. And of course, after this race, they'll still have over 30 races to be able to make up a lot of ground and have a chance to go for a championship when it comes down to the end. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out, but nonetheless, as we exit turn 4 down the front straightaway, we were continuing to work our way forward, and as we come through to lap 5 at this point, we have now already gotten ourselves into the top 25 behind Steve Park and Jerry Nadeau as the 24 of Jeff Gordon continues to lead the way. But I've got a lot of pressure still from behind. We got Dave Blaney behind us, Tony Raines as well, so not going to be easy to actually get into the back of that 0-1 right there of Nadeau. We're going to be 3 wide down the back straightaway to the inside here, but nonetheless, we're going to be fine as we head off into the corners. So we continue to just kind of slowly but surely pick these positions off and show a lot more pace than we had at least in qualifying now. And I'm hopeful that this top 20 is going to be a reality because we have now entered the top 20 after passing Michael Waltrip, new leader, Jimmy Johnson, and that Lowe's at number 48 goes to the front of this pack now. So Hendrick Motorsports, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson looking very strong. How about Matt Kenseth though? He has scored like, what, 3 poles I feel like in this first 4 races, and he just hasn't had the race speed, however, to really be fighting for any kind of race victory now as we pass Ward Burton and kind of settled in here to P19. And as we come through to the end of lap 10, Jimmy Johnson still out in front. Full fuel tank here will get you about 20 laps, so we're already halfway through a fuel run, but now into turn 3, Trumbull behind us there. That's the 10 of Johnny Benson, who's gone around in contact from the 23 of Kenny Wallace. Caution for the first time here today. Everybody is going to march their way down the pit lane, get 4 tires and fuel, and get back out on the racetrack. It's Johnson, Gordon, Dale Jr., your top 3 with Labonte and Kenseth up there as well. We gain 1 spot over fellow Rookie of the Year contender of Jamie McMurray in the pits, and we'll restart on the outside here in P18. Kurt Busch in that Roush Fenway, or just Roush 97 there to my inside now as we start lap 14. This is a long race. We've still got over 100 laps to go. It's a 114 lap race here in Atlanta. Most mile and a halves are, well, I would say about a good 30 laps shorter than we're running here today in Atlanta. So it's going to be a pit stop filled race, and it's really going to allow things to play out strategy wise. And all it takes is one driver having one poorly timed issue, and we could see drivers trapped a lap down during a green flag pit cycle. There's a lot that can happen here as we continue on now, and we drop down to P21, and kind of feeling like we're facing something that's been a bit of a trend so far now, is that the short run speed in this car is kind of lacking, so I'm just kind of hanging on the short run and just trying to make sure I can, you know, kind of burn 8 to 9 laps, and then we kind of get into that more of a long run and we can find some more speed. But Tony Raines goes through on the inside with 99 laps to go. Then we would get passed by the 77 of Dave Blaney. We drop down to P23, but you can still see that mid-corner speed is still really, really good. So I'm able to kind of roll right up to the back of the 77 right there as we continue to just kind of hang on on as we continue to just try and kind of use this inside lane to my advantage, since we've got more trouble. That's Johnny Benson to the outside wall again. Cautions out for another tire failure on the 10. He might be done for the day after that one, as he and Schrader and Wallace and Andretti, the bottom 4 drivers, are all going to come into the pits. As for myself and everybody else, we actually stay out here and get ready to go back racing now. And I was kind of following what a lot of the drivers around me were doing, because obviously I was well aware that those bottom 4 drivers were coming into the pits, but I was just kind of seeing what the vibe was around me. And look behind us, we got the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield there. Started at the back with the backup car, and here he is. Actually, I go a little bit wide in turn 1. Mayfield's going to take advantage. He pounces on it to the inside in that Evernham Dodge now as we go down this back straightaway. Nadu to my right rear, Mayfield to my left side now as he's just barely at my front wheel into turn number 3. Not much we can do about this one now. Mayfield's going to get us into turn 3. We slide up the racetrack there, nearly into the back of the 77 of Dave Blaney, and now we're trapped on the top here. You got the 30 looking to my inside now as well, as we are coming up towards the final 90 laps of racing at this point here now, as we're going to continue to race very hard and actually making that second lane work right there, and we were able to get eventually back to the inside of the 19 of Mayfield, and there we go, making some headway. And actually we were briefly 3 wide with him and Dave Blaney. We cleared them both, and we continue now to try and claw our way back into the top 20, which we do. We pass Ward Burton, into P20 we go, right to the 42's door of Jamie McMurray in that Havoline Dodge now for Chip Ganassi Racing into turn 3. Jimmy Johnson continues to lead over second place Jeff Gordon, third place Dale Jr. They seem to be the kind of standout 3 drivers so far here from Atlanta now, as we've got Burton just off in front of us in that Citgo 99. What a beautiful paint scheme that is. I really love that car. One of the cars from back in the day before my era of watching NASCAR, but I always kind of saw this car when looking at the history of NASCAR and always found it very cool. Daytona 500 winner, crash into turn 3. Ricky Craven goes around, cautions out for the 3rd time already, and we're not even close to halfway in this race. Now everybody is going to come into the pits except for the 4 drivers that pitted under that last caution. We're going to pit, but now, you see, we lose 4 spots, and this is going to be interesting because those 4 drivers that pitted and then stayed on under the last yellow, they're all slow, so they're going to be in the way, including a guy that's already brought out 2 cautions, the 10 of Johnny Benson. Now, we are back underway here, lap 28 at this point, as we head down towards turn number 1. This is going to be an opportunity for us. This is always an opportunity. When we get some slower cars up front, we can be aggressive, we can get after it and attack, full-blown attack mode, and we can usually make up some serious track position. So that's kind of the goal that we have now as we settle in behind Burton here into turn number 3, and McMurray's they're just behind us now, and not seeing a big checkup actually yet. Johnny Benson hasn't even lost the lead, but of course the first 2 rows were all slower cars there that stayed out, so they kind of hold up everybody a little bit longer, and everyone's got to fight a little bit harder to kind of get in front of somebody, etc. Now as there's a checkups here on the inside. I went down to the inside, I feel like, at the wrong time now as we roll through off of turn 2 down this back straightaway, right on the back bumper quite literally of the 97 of Kurt Busch, and you can see it kills my momentum into the corner, but we do gain it back as the more checkups continue off into turn number 3, and yeah, now it's just being patient. I couldn't really attack down here, and I really honestly should be moving up to the top. That's kind of where you want to go if you're just going to try and basically rip right on past everybody. But as we head off into the corner, still glued to the bottom, Jeff Gordon was the first one to get clear of traffic. It's Gordon, Earnhardt Jr., and Jimmy Johnson, your top 3 now, as there's the 23 of Kenny Wallace. He's going to be the first one that we should get to and be able to pass right here now, as he's going to jump down right in front of me, but we would get past him on the inside, and then we're to the inside of Dave Blaney. Here's the 49 of Ken Schrader now, as we're going to split to the inside of him. We'll clear him off of turn 2, same for Blaney. Into the top 20 we go, and now we're kind of getting into a bit more of a normal pace now, and there's the 10 as well of Johnny Benson. But I mean, we still, even after kind of getting caught up in some of that traffic, we're still going to find ourselves in a pretty good spot. Here now is a bit of contact there between the 10 and the 42, kind of squeezing into the middle, but we clear Benson nonetheless, and we were scrapping with McMurray, and now we've got ourselves battling here for 16th position. So I mean, we've got ourselves in a really good spot as we head off into turn 1, but look look at the mirror. After we cleared McMurray, here comes a new competitor. That's the 54 of Todd Bodine. Actually mixing things up now is up front. We've got a lead change. Jimmy Johnson to the lead here from Atlanta as he overtakes Jeff Gordon. They have been top two for the majority of this race, and we're kind of seeing the first kind of classic Jeff Gordon versus Jimmy Johnson battle here in this career mode now, as all the drivers that did not pit on that last caution have now come in and made their pit stops. So we are also about to come in and make our pit stops here over the next few laps here, as the green flag pit cycle is very close to kicking off now, as we would actually, as this run gets longer, re-clear the 54 of Bodine and find ourselves here in 17th position with about 8 laps of fuel left in the car. But now, as we come through 3 and 4, you see drivers coming into the pits now. Jeff Gordon is actually as well going to be right behind Jimmy Johnson in P2. I wonder if he is going to come in and maybe try to undercut the 48 now as we come to lap 40, and I can see on the track map off turn 4 Jeff Gordon is in fact coming in. He is going to try and undercut his Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Jimmy Johnson, as we'll get a report on that 24.
Jeff Gordon comes in for his stop and reports a bit on the tight side.
And there you hear the report on the DuPont Chevrolet as we come to lap 41. Jimmy Johnson now coming into the pits. Greg Biffle, fellow Rookie of the Year competitor, staying out. I'm also going to run this a little bit longer. I felt like I wanted to have fresh tires and have a bit of an advantage compared to some guys around me, so I would eventually go up to P2 following Tony Stewart. And at the end of lap 43, Stewart comes in, and I am eventually going to follow. So we're going to give up some time and track position likely, and hopefully gain it back on the pretty quick part of this run, because we'll have, 2, 3, 4 lap fresher tires here. But all the tires on, it's going to be a 15.2 second stop, and Tony Stewart's already long gone down there into turn number 1. We'll look at the track map. Jeff Gordon has, in fact, pulled off the undercut on Jimmy Johnson. So the 24 back out in front. We're going to drop past behind Kenseth. There goes Bill Elliott, Robbie Gordon, Sterling Marlin down to P17. We might be able to hang on to 17th. We do have someone coming up behind us, so it's going to be close right there, but it looks like we will. Yeah, that's Kurt Busch in the 97. I think we're going to lose out to him into turn 3. Yes, we will. Kurt Busch goes by. We jump to 18th. That's actually really not that big of a loss, and now we've got fresher tires, so it wasn't long at all until I was now making it past to the inside of that 97, so we moved ourselves back up into 17th position, and now we can focus on this proper long run that we're actually having for the first time here today now. And honestly, love these long runs because we just get to burn some laps off, and we're not stopping and then going into a restart. It's nice to kind of get some laps, and as now Jimmy Johnson is actually passing Jeff Gordon again. We continue to see these Hendrick drivers fight. So Johnson passes Gordon on the inside. That 48 returns to the lead. Now the Gordon versus Johnson classic we have got going on here from Atlanta now as we come towards lap 50, and we're already just about halfway through this field run. Once again now is into turn 3. Tire down on the 4 of Mike Skinner. That's going to bring out the caution as Kyle Petty will get the free pass, but outside of that, looks like pretty well everybody is going to pit except for Ken Schrader. And how about this? Jeff Gordon loses 15 positions in the pits. In what's been a Jimmy Johnson versus Jeff Gordon battle all day long, well, now it's just Jimmy Johnson, and maybe Dale Earnhardt Jr. can put a little bit of pressure on that number 48, but Jeff Gordon now restarts P17. He is going to have to get himself up there as he's going to immediately take us 3 wide. Gordon not wasting any time, and he passes us off into turn number 1 as we come through the center and off of turn 2 now, and we're still just barely coming up to the halfway point of this race here in Atlanta. There's still plenty of racing left. Now, Jeff Gordon does not need to push the issue. He can take his time here, and I think he's well aware of that. That's a driver that's won over 60 races and 4 championships now as he seeks his 5th title this season in 2003, and what is going to be, of course, the last full season point standing format until we move on to a new format in 2004 with the chase. Now as Todd Bodine passes me, Kurt Busch passes me, here comes as well Jamie McMurray, and now we kind of find ourselves in a bit of a landslide here, and we're going backwards now. Blaney's going to get past us now. Here comes Jerry Nadeau as I'm kind of just on this outside lane going nowhere. Here comes Ward Burton. He's going to dive one up my inside. Actually a bit of contact on my door with him as we wash way up the track on the exit of turn 2 because of that contact, and that allows Dale Jarrett to my inside. So we would drop to 24th, but then I would get back down to the inside and start working my way back forward now to the inside of Ward Burton here, and yeah, yeah, now it's just focusing in on getting ourselves back up into that kind of, you know, top 20. I feel like is kind of really, like I said, where that goal is today, and we've been doing a really good job of accomplishing that. I mean, considering where we qualified, I think the race pace is pretty surprising, and yeah, I mean, overall, not going to complain about this day we're having. We'll clear McMurray, and then immediately to the outside of the 77 of Dave Blaney. I tried to make the outside work, couldn't make it work, so I would have to get in line back behind him and actually look to the inside on the exit of turn 4 here, and actually a bit of contact right there on his quarter panel, but nonetheless, we should be able to pass him hopefully into turn 1. No, we won't. He's actually going to re-clear me, and here comes Dale Jarrett to catch me off guard up my inside now, so we drop back to the 21st position now, and we're not far again from green flag pit stops here, so do get ready here to come into the pits over these next handful of laps now, as we have gotten past the halfway point here, and you can kind of tell when we hit the halfway point of a field run as well, because of the fact that our speed just gets better, and that's completely unrelated to the halfway point of the race I was just going on about. But as we continue to kind of march our way forward, we've got green flag pit stops now coming underway here on lap 67. 6-7, there it is. But as we exit turn 4, look at all the cars pitting. Tony Stewart, he's been running long on these green flag runs. We're going to continue that as well, as we're trying to get to Todd Bodine here just before we come into the pits. Couldn't quite get there, but Tony Stewart and everybody else is coming in. We're actually going to lead this lap here, so we'll take that starting lap 69, and we'll come in here at the end of lap 70 is when I eventually decide to come in. So we stayed out quite a bit longer again than everybody else, because I like the way things were going. We had a good speed on the long run, and then we go a little bit longer, and then we have fresher tires, so then we can make a difference that way as well. Nonetheless, 4 tires on this Motorcraft number 21 Ford Taurus, and we'll get back underway, and I think we're doing a really good job right now behind the wheel of this Wood Brothers 21 car, and I feel like this team's going to be very proud to have us behind the wheel as a Cup Series rookie. We're keeping calm, we're being patient, we're not overdriving anything, we are just doing, you know, what we need to be doing basically. And as we'll cycle out behind Sterling Marlin, and there's Kurt Busch, will be P17, and we actually have a new leader. Tony Stewart, who went long compared to Jimmy Johnson and others, has managed to overcut everybody. So Tony Stewart now leads as we are rolling up on Todd Bodine here for P17, and we should be able to get him, as it looks like he might be struggling a little bit for pace as we come towards lap 75, and we're actually going to be 3 wide as we exit turn number 4, and as we go 3 wide coming to the start finish line, you'll get the live view from the spotters stand now as you see us racing off into turn number 1, and I mean, what a cool view this is with the free camera mod in NASCAR Heat 5. We clear both Bodine and Kurt Busch, and there's 2 positions gained right there as we head down this back straightaway. But I just love this view, and obviously want to, of course, bring in these different types of perspectives into these videos. Not every episode, but you know, every few episodes do something a little bit different there as we continue to move our way forward, and with this fresh tire advantage, we're now running down 15th place of Sterling Marlin, so we are playing our cards to perfection. I don't think we've got a top 10 car, but I think we can pull off a top 15. I think it's really possible here, and a bit surprising, of course, but as you continue to see us ripping this bottom lane, Marlin's all the way up on the wall, and we are reeling him in pretty quickly now as we approach lap 80, and sure enough, as we come to lap 80, more green flag pit stops. So just as we caught Marlin, he comes in, and others are coming in as well. So we're going to get 2 consecutive green flag back-to-back pit stops, which I didn't think we were going to see based off the first half of this race, which was pretty caution-filled. But now we have had, you know, almost 40 laps of green flag racing, it feels like at this point now. Not quite that, of course, but we continue to run long. That's kind of been the thing that's working for us, for not only me, but for Tony Stewart. And after watching Tony Stewart get the lead from running long, it drove me, or just drove more confidence to do it. So I was kind of mimicking Tony Stewart here and kind of pitting when he was, and he comes in, so does Matt Kenseth, will come in as well. We'll once again get, of course, filled up on fuel, and another 4 tire pit stop here now, and we might even get another green flag pit stop before the day is over, but 3 green flag pit stops here today. You love to see these kind of races play out like this. Right now we got Jeff Burton out in front here in this number 99 as we'll rejoin the track in P18. Here comes Sterling Marlin. Overall, the overcut it's going to leave us just a little bit further behind Marlin, and we're talking car lengths, not multiple tenths or a second there as Jeff Burton now comes into the pits. I was hoping we would get past him before we would, of course, get a caution or anything, so we were able to fortunately avoid any of that now as we continue to now close up on Marlin. Now trouble into turn 1. It's the 4 of Mike Skinner. Jeff Gordon's going to get involved as well, and so does the number 5 and the 45, the 2 and the 18 as well, all collected. Caution is out. Oh boy, now as we are going to see, well, pretty well no one on the lead lap come into the pits as I would expect, and actually no, we do have a few drivers coming in, so we are going to stay out alongside everybody else here to restart P14. And the 3 drivers that stayed out were Tony Raines as well as Sterling Martin, and I believe, actually I don't know who the third one was, but we know Sterling Martin and Tony Raines all stayed out as we got 26 laps to go. As it stands, nobody, even if you pitted right there, nobody can make it to the end of this race. So we all still have another pit stop, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. is now out in front. Ever since Jeff Gordon had that slow pit stop, it's been weird because it seems like the speed of the 48 hasn't quite been the same now, as you see Jeff Gordon still up there in the top 10. Jimmy Johnson's up there in the top 5 as well, so it's not like they are having a bad race by any means, but we still expected more based off what we saw earlier. As for myself, I mean, we continue to perform really well and actually ripping around the outside of Dave Blaney into the top 15, and we continue to just make headway. We are actually now pressuring the 12 of Ryan Newman as well, the 18 here of Bobby Labonte. Dale Jr. continues to lead. Actually, Jimmy Johnson has officially gotten himself back up there in the conversation, so watch out as he actually retakes the lead here on lap 91. And as we now get to the inside of Bodine, that's going to slip us through just about into P11 as we are just about in that field window. You want to be, pitting with about 20 or less laps to go if you're going to try any kind of, pitting and making it to the end of this race now. And as we continue on here, as we are actually going to lose out to the 99 of Jeff Burton. He's got fresher tires than anybody, of course, now, as he didn't pit much earlier before that caution came out, so things worked out pretty well for that 99. How about Tony Raines? He's on the freshest tires alongside Marlin, and he's going to rip past me and actually take the position as we continue now. And here we go, more green flag pit stops with 20 laps coming to 19 to go, so everybody should be able to make it from here as we're going to be coming in pretty shortly. And I'm not really wanting to run long this time. I kind of want to pit on the more short end of things, but we'll wait and see what happens here now. Jimmy Johnson, he's going to come in from the lead as well. I believe that's the 29 Good Wrench Chevrolet. There's Kevin Harvick coming in as we're to the inside of Jeff Burton. Tony Stewart, as usual, all race long has gone a little bit longer as here comes the number 48.
Jimmy Johnson wants no changes here, guys. 4 tires and fuel.
Johnson gonna get his 4 tires and fuel now, and we are not far behind that 48 in terms of when we're going to follow him into the pits now. We are well within the fuel window, as look at this, Dale Jr. is actually gonna get out after pitting in front of Jimmy Johnson, so Jr. I think is gonna be the net leader as here comes Stewart and others. Now we're up to P3. There's Matt Kenseth as well, and Tony Raines finds himself out in front leading this race, and he can go a little bit longer than the rest of the field as well. All those guys that pitted under that caution can go longer, so myself and Kenseth, we are going to come in. It's going to be 15 laps to go once we crawl down the start finish line here now, and we'll get the left sides on after the right sides, of course, taken care of here. Fresh Goodyear rubber for one more time. 4 green flag pit stops here today, and we're actually going to get out in front of Matt Kenseth after the green flag pit stop. That worked out pretty well for us here now as we'll rejoin the track now, and seeing all these guys go past us. There's Johnson actually behind Robbie Gordon, so Johnson's down to like a net P3. There's Jeff Gordon there as well, Tony Stewart, Mark Martin, Bobby Labonte. We are going to give up quite a bit of track position down to P15. Here comes Ryan Newman as well. Yeah, honestly, we probably should have pit earlier. Here comes Greg Biffle in the 16 as well as Rusty Wallace. So we drop all the way down to 18th place. It's kind of the first time we've kind of really lost out on a pit stop cycle, and there goes Matt Kenseth as well to the inside. It's not long now until we see Tony Raines and Marlin and well, all three guys that pitted earlier come in. Actually, Tony Raines is in the pits now. Tony Raines is pitting. Jeff Burton was that third guy that pitted with those guys, and he's actually, well, perfect timing. We're gonna get a caution. And that's Kurt Busch crashing down to the inside. Raines was in the pits at the time of yellow, and a bunch of drivers are trapped one lap down. And because Raines doesn't have to make a pit stop under yellow like Burton and Marlin do, nobody can take the wave around. So I, along with many others, are going to be trapped a lap down. So Dale Jr. will get the free pass. Jimmy Johnson on back are all one lap down, so it's going to be 8th position, a lap down on back, and it's Tony Raines and Jeff Green, your front row, as we get ready to go back racing with 10 laps to go, and all of a sudden, it's going to be a weird dynamic here. Dale Jr. is the fastest driver on the lead lap now, but he's at the very back of the field. He needs a quick caution to have any chance. Other than that, if we don't see a caution, basically everybody in front of Tony Stewart is battling for the win of this race. Marlin as well as Jeff Burton, Tony Raines, the 25 of Joe Nemechek, and Jeff Green in the number 30, and now we are almost most certainly going to get a surprise winner unless Jeff Burton can find his way to victory lane here. And the beauty of it is it's not going to waste a playoff spot because we don't have that here now as we head down towards turn number 1, and all of a sudden Jeff Burton's making his way forward, less than 10 laps to go, and now we're just trying to hang on to a top 10. What a story it would be if we could sneak 2 back-to-back top 10s in a row here as we head down this back straightaway. The 74 of Tony Raines leads, and he continues to lead now as we're looking to the inside of the 25 of Joe Nemechek. Here comes Kurt Busch now, looking to my left rear as we come down this front straightaway now, and it's right now Tony Raines and as well Sterling Marlin in P2 as we now come to lap 109, and we've got a pass for the lead. Sterling Marlin is going to take the lead from Tony Raines as Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon both are going to pass us for position, and that unfortunately drops us down to P11 with just a few laps to go in this race. And as we come through to just 3 laps to go, here comes Mark Martin up my inside, and I feel like we might be able to hold on from here. P12, there might be another quick car or so coming, but Sterling Marlin still leads in that number 40 over Tony Raines. And here we go, coming to the final lap here from Atlanta. Jimmy Johnson's actually going to unlap himself. I've got Matt Kenseth coming up super fast, but Sterling Marlin has a multi-car length lead on Tony Raines, and I think he's pretty well got the job done if he can just hang on down the back straightaway into turn 3. It helps that Jeff Gordon's pressuring that 74 as well of Tony Raines as they head down this back straightaway into turn 3, and we are going to have a very, very strong effort again here as well from Atlanta. Now we will hang on for P12, but Sterling Marlin off turn 4 down the front straightaway. He's going to take victory in Atlanta and a surprise win as he takes the checkered flag. What a story there for Sterling Marlin. We take P12, and that is one of those feel-good stories that you love to see. His 11th career win comes here at Atlanta in 2003. How about Rookie of the Year competitor of Tony Raines, who nearly stole a win out of it as well? Wouldn't that have been a story? It's a story nonetheless, but I mean, for us, a very strong day, and yeah, I mean, some big names that we were worried about certainly had some respectable results today. Stewart looked way better, same for Dale Jr., Mark Martin as well, as we'll take a look at the point standings, and now Jeff Gordon takes the championship lead by 4 points over his Hendrick teammate of Jimmy Johnson. Robbie Gordon in P3 over Mayfield and Rusty Wallace, and we find ourselves in P8. That's not going to last. We have had a lot of good fortune on our side in the early part of the season, but it's a 36 race season. With that number for us, unfortunately, it's going to go down. So what a race and what a finish, and that's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and have yourselves a great day.